It says, I'm not sad, I'm freaking hungry. Hello book baddies and besties, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Hello, if you are new here, I hope you enjoy your stay. Grab a little snack, a little blanket, and let's get rolling! Okay, my intros are so cringy. I definitely acknowledge that. I just don't know I just don't know how to do that. I'm still figuring it out, but hey, I hope everybody's doing well. In today's video, we will be talking about the books that I read in January. If you are noticing that everything is exactly the same from my previous video, no you don't. But we are batch filming because your girl is busy and she's trying to keep a schedule and being productive. We're locking in for this year, boys. Okay, recap. If you can remember last month, I barely can remember yesterday. So we had this book, Good Spirits by B.K. Boris, and almost had a brain aneurysm there. We had Does It Hurt by H.G. Carlton. We had Brimstone by Callie Hart. This thickums. Oh my god, I just hit my head with it. This thickums. We also had Two Twisted Crowns. Ugh. I grabbed that so awkwardly. Two Twisted Crowns. And then I had my book club book, which was We Who Will Die. And then I had another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your butts. And Light Lark. Yes, it's over in another book pile somewhere else. Okay. Did I read any of those? Did I finish any of those? Can I be completely honest with you? Me to you, you to me. I didn't finish a goddamn book that I said I was going to. But, never to fear, I did finish. I did finish a couple books, okay? I'm at 3 so far. Things are looking up and up though, because I don't know why. I had like a 2-month slump that I was coming out of into the new year, right? And I was very much not feeling it, for a lack of better words. And I just couldn't pick up a freaking book and then not put it down uninterested. So, I'll try to filter some of these books in when I feel like it, because I will end up reading them, but January wasn't the moment for them. It wasn't the time to let it shine. So, with that being said, let's get into the books that I did read. 3 whole books. And one of them I think I might have already talked about. It was The Accidental Dating Experiment by Lauren Blakely. I listened to that and it took me maybe a week or so to finish it. It was interesting. I liked the banter between these two. So like, it's these two co-workers. They had a fling one summer when they were young. Now they work together like 10 years later, and they happen upon the situation that brings them together for a whole week, and then they like realize that they still have those budding feelings for each other, and they're strong enough now and not, I don't know. It's a silly good old rom-com where there's obviously a happy ending at the end. But I don't know if you can see, I did rate it 3 stars. Again, it's by Lauren Blakely. I think this might be the first ever book that I've read of hers, and I don't know how I really thought about it, honestly, I'm gonna, like, complete honesty, it was just kind of meh. You know, it was one of those books where I would put it on and I would do other things and I would listen to it, but it was like one of those books that it was really easy to digest while doing other things. So it wasn't really, there wasn't a lot going on, I will say, and I think I like books that have to make me think and puzzle. I think that's why I tend to stay away from rom-coms unless, like, it's recommended or if I'm kind of feeling in that mood at a certain instance of a certain day and time, you know what I'm saying? So 3 stars. It is the 4th book in a standalone series. How to Date is what the standalones are. The other 3 go obviously over couples that are mentioned in this specific book. The Accidental Dating Experiment has other couples and stuff that they mention, and the first 3 books go over them and obviously their stories. And I honestly don't know if I'm gonna be reading any of those. I don't feel myself itching to listen to anymore. So, with that being said, this might be my holy grail. This might be my Roman Empire of this year, and it's crazy to say that because we're only in February, and I read this last month, and I felt the same way as I do right now. So I read Dungeon Crawler Carl and Carl's Doomsday Scenario. That is the 1st and 2nd book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Now, I'm going to forever being called Dungeon Crawler Carl DCC from now on, just a heads up, because saying Dungeon Crawler Carl every single time makes me want to throw myself off my balcony because it is so hard to say consecutively and fast. I kind of like slur my words sometimes, and trying to say Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's a tongue twister for sure. But anywho, 5 stars for both. And I think this series, nay, mayhaps every single book that Matt Dinniman writes is probably going to be 5 stars. He knows how to freaking write a book. And this is my introduction to lit RPGs, and I gotta tell you, I honestly wouldn't have wanted any other book as my first. Okay. So, the first book is obviously, it's quite longer, I think, than the second. I will say the second book was honestly a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be. It's like around 20-something chapters, and I think the first book is like over 40, which makes sense because the first book is the introduction, and then you already know what's happening going into the second, and then the second obviously sets up for the third, so on and so forth, because if you see the physical books, they get a lot larger as the series continues. Just kind of like, I feel like any series does. If you look at some major series like Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, Zodiac Academy, all their books get bigger because you already know the world, and now that you can really get into the story. So, with that being said, I've watched so many videos of people trying to describe the story of DCC and trying to get them to read it, and I've also come to that conclusion in which there's no good way to accurately describe what's going on in this book without sounding actually insane. And this is like a worldwide I say worldwide, to everybody who's ever read DCC, I think everybody has come to that conclusion of where when you recommend this book, and you will be recommending it to every single person and creature that you meet, that they need to experience this book, that there's no actually accurate way to describe it without basically telling the story, because it is just, it's 1,000 things all at once, happening all at once, and You just have to trust the process. So I will give a little breakdown though. There is the main character, Carl, his talking sentient cat, Princess Donut, who I literally would die for. Mongo, you'll understand who that is later. The sentient AI, which is crazy. It's a little scary, kind of. But it runs the dungeons. And like a mass universe of different alien species, and in particular the alien species that is hosting the dungeon crawl in which our main character Carl participates in. So I don't know how to explain it. It's like almost, it's basically end of the world, dystopian. Like it starts there, right? And then it just descends into madness, but it's like amazing. It's a journey I would wish everybody took. And not only that, you must do audio. I don't know how Jeff does it, but it's literally, this book is literally narrated by one single person. I seriously don't know how he does it. His range is crazy. And I think, so like some of my top audiobook listens is the, what even is it called? Oh, the Ruinous Love Trilogy by Bryn Weaver. It is a duet-styled narration. It was like perfection. It was my very first introduction to duet narration, and it quite literally changed the audiobook game for me personally. But this man's, Jeff Hayes, outdoes himself. He really puts single narrated books to, I was gonna say to shame, but that's single narrated books are a slay too, but I feel like they've been ruined for me after Ruinous Love and now after Jeff Hayes. Like, I should say I haven't listened to graphic audio narrated books, and I've heard they're fantastic. So maybe that's like even above, just because like there's like actually immersive sounds going on, but like literally just him narrating this book is like a literal movie, a cinematic masterpiece that's like happening inside my brain. You just need to read it, okay? Okay. But yeah, that was my 3 books for January. I can't believe February is already here. It's kind of rude of how fast it went, but also thank God. Thank God that's over, so we can move forward into hopefully a better time. Only time will tell. I don't know. I know what's going on in the world, and I hate where we are as a community, but I love that we have this safe space. This is the safest space for me. I feel really safe in being able to speak my mind and speak what I'm feeling, and I hope you feel the same way as well. I know I don't want to really talk about it too much because I personally, I know what's going on, but I don't know how to specifically articulate it to people. There are resources and stuff to educate yourself if you don't know what's going on, but I implore you to, again, stay vigilant, stay safe, yeah, protect our peace. We can control that for now. So, oh, also, do you guys like my, this is so like random, but it says I'm not sad, I'm freaking hungry. And if that doesn't encompass all that I am as a person, I don't know what does. Also, I forgot that I didn't put mascara on. Guys, can you see it? I didn't put any mascara on. But shh, don't tell anybody. I feel like you can't even tell. Anyway, I digress. We've lost the plot in this video, but yeah, that was my wrap up. It was very uneventful. It was very unproductive, very procrastinated. But, I mean, hey, it was 3 instead of 0, and that is something to be happy about. I know, I mean, 3 is a lot, I feel like, for any, like, average individual, but for me, I mean, it's not like I don't want to read. There's so many books that I want to read. It's just hard to, like, find myself in a specific mood for a specific book. And if you know, you know. But that's my time for today, y'all. Again, I hope you're having an amazing rest of your time zones wherever you may be. And I will be back with another one next week, probably. But yeah, until then, I will see you later. Goodbye!